Recently, Asmongold created a big controversy on the internet when he shared his 3 ideas on how he would fix World of Warcraft. Now, I made a response video to these Asmongold ideas where I walked through the woods, I shared my thoughts on each one, and in that video, I said, hey, if you guys would like to hear maybe my own ideas of how I'd fix WoW, let me know in the comment section below. Not only did you guys say, yeah, Nixxiom, if you think you're so smart, why don't you share your ideas? But even Asmongold himself, when he reacted to this video, said that he would like to see my ideas. So here's what we're gonna do. Number 1, I'm gonna be talking about the modern game, AKA Dragonflight. I'm not gonna be talking about Season of Discovery, Classic, Hardcore, none of that. Let's just focus on the modern, up-to-date game. And the second thing I wanna establish before I start is that Asmongold said 3 things. So I'm going to limit this video to 3 ideas as well. And I would actually encourage anybody who wants to make a response video to this video to share your own 3 ideas of how you would fix WoW. There's really no wrong answers. It's just, what do you guys think would be cool if Blizzard added to the game? What do you think would help? And the last thing I want to establish is in the previous video, I talked about Asmongold's ideas already. We talked about endgame raiding. We talked about add-ons and stuff. I don't want to cover the exact same topics again. So these are going to be 3 completely different ideas from what I talked about in that response video. So all that said, let's talk about my ideas for how I would fix World of Warcraft, and you guys can let me know what you think down in the comment section. Before I do start though, quick shout out to this channel's sponsor, Zygor, linked down below in the description. It's World of Warcraft's ultimate add-on, and if you use code Nixxiom, you can get 20% off. Anyway, let's dive in. Let's talk about it. Number 1, the first thing I want to talk about is modern World of Warcraft's early game. It is absolute garbage. If you are a new player and you are coming to the game for the very first time, or you are somebody, you're trying to get your friend to try World of Warcraft, you and I both know that the early game experience can be a huge turnoff for new players. The content is outdated. The story can be so confusing for new people. If Blizzard wants to continue to bring new players into the modern game, you have to create a good, strong, and appealing, early game experience. So this is just my idea of something that I would do. I think that if you play through the old world, if you're a night elf and you start in Teldrassil, there's just no challenge. If you do Tutorial Island, I mean, doing it for the first time is fine, but then the second and third time, it's just repetitive, it's linear. I would create a third option to these 2 choices, a third option that every new player would be forced to play through, and it's just simply a Chromie-led quest line. What it is you would play through a quick lore-driven campaign led by Chromie, who would bring you up to speed on all the previous expansion lore. You would start at level 1, you would start in just the regular world, then you would move to TBC, Wrath of the Lich King. She explains what happened during the War of the Lich King. You do a couple of quests, whatever, and then you move on to the next expansion, and she just completely brings you up to speed with where is World of Warcraft today. And with each fade in to a new expansion, a new time period in World of Warcraft, this is when you would get some new abilities on your action bars, the quests that you would do in these various expansions that introduce you to a little bit of its lore, that allows you the opportunity to try out these new abilities and what they can do. And that's really it. And it's a quest line that would be expanded on with each new expansion. That way a new player doesn't jump into the game very confused. And if they decide to make an alt one day, they're like, man, I really liked that Wrath of the Lich King, Chromie introduction. A war against a Lord of Undeath? That sounds cool. Well, then a new player can make an alt, they can hop on over to Chromie in Orgrimmar or Stormwind, and they can do Chromie time and just go and level up in Wrath of the Lich King if that's what they want to do. This would be an extremely fast quest line though. It's something that should probably only take an hour to do, so you'd be leveling very quickly, possibly in stages where every time you fade in and fade out, you're going from level 10 to 20 to 30, something like that, or maybe every 5 levels, whatever. But it'd be a very quick quest line. So maybe you guys think that's cool, maybe not, but this is really my main reason why I think this would be a cool idea. 1, because new players tend to be very confused when they hop into World of Warcraft because they got a million freaking expansions of lore to catch up on. So giving them a little nugget of each expansion I think would be kind of cool. 2, because it allows a new player to level up a new character relatively quickly so that they can just jump into the latest content. By the way, this Chromie questline would end with you on the continent of whatever the newest expansion is, so that's my idea there. And three, the third reason why I would do this is because the early game in World of Warcraft is technically supposed to like teach you your class, introduce you to the mechanics of the game, so on and so forth. And the current early game model doesn't really do this. Instead, it's just a bunch of just very simple quests or a lot of dungeon spamming and LFG. So I think just having a big quest line that introduces you to your class mechanics, the lore of the game and the story so far, and then it just drops you onto whatever the new expansion is. Let's just say it's Dragonflight, you're boom dropped onto the Dragon Isles, and then you can really go out into the Dragon Isles and play with all your new abilities, and that's when you really learn the class and how it's played. I just think that'd be kind of cool. And to be fair, this could also be a one-time thing because, you know, you would level up a character so quickly by doing it. So maybe after doing it once, you would then only have Tutorial Island and normal leveling. So it's kind of like getting a, you know, easy sort of almost max level character, if that makes sense. So hopefully I did that idea justice. I know it's a little bit complicated as an idea, so hopefully I explained it all right. But anyway, let's just dive into the second point. The second thing that I feel would fix World of Warcraft, or at least really help it, is by creating a new endgame progression path. So currently the formula is you hit endgame and you either do PvE, PvP, or you just go on a full collector's spree with achievements, pets, mounts, or whatever. I would actually add a new progression path with this that kind of combines potentially all of these things together, and I would call it player housing. Now, how the heck would PvP and player housing go together? Well, let me explain. So Blizzard has instanced technology in World of Warcraft nowadays, as we all know, and they have a huge world with tons of open areas where a person could potentially build their house. We've experimented with the garrison system and blah, blah, blah. This is all possible. There could easily be various plots located in Azeroth, Kalimdor, Outland, Northrend, whatever, where people can build for themselves a house, or better yet, not just a house, but almost like a little tiny fortress, kind of like the garrison system, but with a lot more customization. I think it would be cool if Blizzard gave us the ability to choose a plot of land, let's just say in Howling Fjord, for example, and not only can you, build a little home there, but you can mess with the terrain, you can decorate the land however you want, trees, you can put down walls, you can build like a stable. I think that would be great. To keep this simple, through various like new professions or just new ways you can gather materials for your base to build up little buildings like a stable, like a tavern or whatever. You're limited to maybe several buildings that you can put in one spot, but there's tons of little things that you could put everywhere, from a signpost to fences, whatever you want. And of course, all of the things that you could potentially collect for this, plot of land could also be found out in the world. I mean, if you kill a boss, for example, like you killed Argus, you could actually cut off Argus's head and you could mount it in your hall or in your little home, or put it in your basement or something. You can really do whatever you want with it. Quest rewards out in the world could reward things like a little lamppost, or it could reward a fence object. It could reward a rock, just like a boulder, whatever you want to do. I think it would also be cool to bring back the recruiting NPCs idea from Warlords of Draenor to sort of populate your base as it gets bigger. And of course, as you add more buildings and stuff, this would allow you more NPCs that you could potentially bring into your little base that you're constructing. Or you could just leave it as a single little house, like out in the woods, and it's just you, and that's it. That's fine. These NPCs would just wander around. They would swing at training dummies, assuming that you put some in your little area. They'll just interact with the world, turn on lanterns at night, turn them off in the morning, things like that. But I think what would really make this World of Warcraft housing really shine is, and I admit I'm totally taking a little bit of inspiration from Hearthfire here from Skyrim, but make it so that you can talk to maybe an NPC or something in your, house, or just something, maybe like some object, and you can actually have your home be attacked by mobs. It could be Defias bandits, it could be dragons, it could just be like some local NPCs from the zone that you're in. If you're building in Silverpine Forest, for example, it's a bunch of Worgen. You could even progress in pillars of difficulty, eventually leading to big giant bosses that will come to try to genuinely destroy your home. Like, you're rolling the dice here. They will knock down your walls, and those walls are destroyed. They'll knock down that lantern, and that lantern's destroyed. Not my lantern! So you gotta protect your home, and these PvE encounters will get harder and harder. You'll need to get your friends involved to, you know, bring them to your house. You're all like fighting valiantly to defend your home against a giant Yeti that's attacking you in the Ultric Mountains. Like, yeah, you could even build like defensive structures for your home, like, I don't know, like a catapult or, you know, like an archer tower to really help, you know, defend your home. Then the best part is if you kill that giant Yeti, you collect, you know, some giant Yeti pelts or whatever, like, you know, rugs for your home. And only the people that built their homes in Ultric Mountains or like a really big snowy zone or something, only they can get that item. So they can then go and take it to the auction house if they want and trade it to other people. Like, oh, this guy's got like Arctic Yeti fur, dude. Like, I'm gonna buy that for a couple of gold for my cool house in Grizzly Hills or something. But something really crazy would also like be queuing up your home to be attacked by players. Players could come in and it can either be a 5v5, 5v10, or 5v40 if you've got like a really big base. So it's you, 4 of your friends, a bunch of NPCs, archers, catapults, whatever. 40 enemy players are running at you like an entire like horde team of Ultric Valley. Oh my goodness, and your NPCs are shooting catapults. It would just be wild. So, and it would be very cool to see how people would construct their home to really defend against this mass of players seeking to run in there and maybe burn down your primary like town hall or your primary little house and then win the game. I think though that players, if you're doing PvP, players can't permanently destroy your structures in the PvP mode, but monsters that you have attack your structures, they can do it. So you're kind of, you know, PvP is a bit more fun. PvE is a little bit more of like the real challenge, I guess. So that's just an idea. Crazy idea, but you know, if you're gonna put player housing into World of Warcraft, you gotta bring the war and the craft, you know, into the player housing experience. So this is what I was hoping garrisons could be one day. So maybe we'll see something like it. Probably not, but we'll see. Okay, and then finally, now we've arrived to my third idea. My third idea is very simple. Okay, the last two were kind of complicated, but here's my third one. Just simply add more RPG elements into the damn game. This is an MMORPG, damn it. Like, this is a game that's supposed to be based off of like D&D, single player RPGs. It's just a massively multiplayer version of it. You've got to have the RPG elements in World of Warcraft, even if people don't use it. So here's my ideas. Number one, just simply being able to dye your gear different colors. Great, awesome. You can make your character really look how you want them to look. More cosmetic items like scrolls that you can like open and read. Magical effects that your character can do. Like they can, I don't know, like wave their hands and it like creates like a sparkle effect in the air. There's little things like that. The ability for your character to actually kneel down and feed your pet as a hunter. You can pet them. You can play fetch with them or frisbee or something. Add more things like that. Of course, we need to have a bard profession, dude. I've talked about this bard profession in so many videos. Bard profession. You sit, you play musical instruments just like in Lord of the Rings Online. You can create your own custom music. Players that right-click your portrait and select listen. You will sit down, you'll listen to the bard playing his music. The longer that you sit there, you'll watch your rested experience bar slowly going up. It's so genius, I'm surprised Blizzard hasn't done it. It would add such a cool social element to the game in the Inns of Azeroth. Just put in a stupid bard profession. Like, it's long overdue. So many MMOs have this and it's freaking awesome. Like, just add it into World of Warcraft already. Next, I would love if they added just a big empty text space on your character page in game. This is a thing that you can tab into it. You can use this big empty text box to explain your character, their alignment, where they're from. You know, if you're a big role player, if you're not a role player, you're like a PvP player, you can write in here like, hey, I'm a PvP guy. I'm looking for this kind of person to maybe do some 2s or 5s with or something. You can write out what kind of player you are, what you're interested in. Hey, I love Dungeons and Dragons behind the scenes. I right click you. I'm like, huh, this guy really likes Dungeons and Dragons. I'm gonna hit this guy up and be like, oh, you know, you also like D&D? Oh, are you playing a campaign right now? You know, just a way to kind of introduce yourself a little bit to other people if you're not a role player. Anyway, I would also say that this big text box should be very customizable. You can put little icons in there, little sparkles and bullet points and stuff. Don't just make it like a text box, you know. You can put like, you know, page breaks, borders and stuff. Like, make it customizable, make it cool. And finally, and dude, I could go on forever with stuff like this because there's so much that you could add. Like, you know, the sky's the limit. But even something very simple, like just your ability to walk your mount. Like, you summon your mount, but instead of being on the mount, you're just walking beside it, holding its reins as you're just walking along or running along the path. And then at any point, you could just like right click your mount. It's that little hop on, you know, icon, that little green hop on thing. Then you just boop, hop on it and ride off if you want. You can select walk with mount or summon mount, whatever you want. Just little things like that. That'd be really cool. Just add a little bit more RPG roleplay-ish stuff to the game. You can even make this collectible, Blizzard, like collectible little things. Like, oh, you finished the Darrowshire quest line. You know, you helped the little girl find her dolly or whatever. Well, now your character has like this cradle emote where you can like put like a pet or something, and you're like cradling your pet in your arms or something, just walking around like this. I don't know. There's a lot you can do, Blizzard. There's a lot. So anyway, so those are my 3 ideas, everybody. 3 ideas that I think would be cool if it was added to World of Warcraft. I apologize if I rambled a bit. I did my best to explain. But yeah, those are my thoughts. And if you guys have any ideas yourself that you want to contribute to the big idea pool, by all means, throw them out there, dude. Other than that, thank you to the channel members. As always, check out the new merchandise over on the Nixxiom store, link down below in the description, and I'll see you guys with my next video.